Welcome YouTube to another daily cast here. We'll be spectating Ashton and Chuck against Snekkles and Taulneas. We are arriving at the beginning of the game, wave 1. People are yet to build anything, so we'll focus on the Legion spells for now. So Savior. First thing first, we do have two YOLOs here. Ashton and Snekkles going for YOLO, while the two others are going for Greed. So it'll be interesting to see what units they have at the beginning. But yes, as we said, Savior can help you recover from an early deficit in King HP if you scaled better than the opponent but only took more King damage, can help you stabilize the game. Embargo for an aggressive mid-game play, and Magician, just overall good unit again when paired with mana units. So first of all, everybody's sending on one King Ups, Chuck receiving a Snail though. And so only Chuck not sending on wave 1 against the flower of Taulneas. But Ashton going for 2 anglers supporting his washroom, meaning that he will be safe. Will be able to push to 5. Well, 5 workers a bit risky here, but he still does it. I'm not sure that without a split you're still fine here, but this is still 80 value supporting the washroom, so it can still be very good. And there are no resends. Taulneas is able to send a 20 after income, but I do not think that he will do it. Taulneas staying at 4 workers, trying to protect the flower. But the one sending a snail here is Sneck, and this one warrior will prevent any leaks happening to the priestess. So a bit of feed going on to Chuck here with the snails, of course. But Chuck does push in answer to that. And Snake did go for an angler supporting the flower, so this means that he will be able to scale a bit better. But they are both, Taulneas and Snekkles, vulnerable on wave 7 right now. No matter what you add, there's no way with what you have that you are good on wave 7. Maybe Cat for Snekkles, but apart from that, not looking promising. But Ashton going for the snail here just for that little bit of extra income against the flower of Sneck, but not going full, which is a crucial part. And here the ward just perfect for wave 4, and this will be a maiden as well, I believe. Let's see, Snekkles will be able to hold that, does prepare the cat already for 7, but 6 becomes an issue now. So 6 does become an issue for Snack, but Taulneas does have answer for 6, so it will be interesting to see what the players do here. The washroom is almost taking nothing here for Ashton, so that might hurt him a bit in the future. Most of the wave goes into the warg, so we'll see how it goes. So he's missing a bit of a stack here. Oh, never mind, he's not missing a single stack here. And now with 121, he cannot invest into the Bounty Hunter. So he's probably going for the Maiden or under the Warg behind here. So that's what he decides to do. There are options, but Ashton is forced to stay low workers because of that unit combination. And so he decided to go for the Warg here instead of in the split. So this is probably the position of the Linus right here. But we will see what he decides to do. The Brute here against Ashton can hurt. He was not fully prepared for this wave. He did have wargs, of course, but the wargs are more of a tank than damage. So he's liking a bit of damage, but the Brute is getting targeted now. The Angler, oh, Taulneas, not able to hold the Hermit Sand here from Chuck, but Ashton and Chuck themselves are leaking to the income send as well. Well, not the income send on Ashton, that was a power send, but Chuck leaking to the income send as a priestess player here with decent units on with 4. This means early king damage, and we'll see if Ashton and Chuck can recover from that, because this is still no small leaks on the side of Taulneas, still resulting into king damage. and will be pretty similar in the long run in terms of gold, I believe. But the big winner on this one is pretty much Snack. I mean, those who receive the most from the leaks are Chuck, which received 31 in total, and 35 from Taulneas. Ashton and Snack only did receive as much from one another, but the big winner is Snack because he's the only one positive. No, Chuck is also positive, but 2 more gold for Snack. But the reason here on Ashton can bring trouble, but he does have decent tanks. He does have the bounty hunter now. It's all a question of if the wireshroom survives or not. So right now it looks like the wireshroom will be dying quite soon, and yes it will. So now he's liking the damage. The bounty hunter should not be enough, and so it should result into a leak for him. And yes, sorry, I need to zoom in a little bit. Oh wait, the bounty hunter is still quite healthy, so it will be interesting to see how it does. The flowers are still, I mean, Taulneas does have 2 flowers, so he will be in trouble later on. But the bounty hunter, I underestimated it, and does better than I thought. He does focus on DT. Does he have enough HP to survive both of them? It looks like it will be only 1 scorpion. Oh no, it's 2 scorpions. That was hidden. There was 1 hidden, so still fine in the long run. More time for their sends on wave 6. Snekkles not looking the best on 6. We discussed that. Only pierce damage. For Taulneas has 2 flowers, pretty vulnerable. Did not shift enough gold to get that Berserker, and so now you have 2 lanes, which are pretty weak on wave 6. But if only Taulneas prepared for wave 6 instead, instead of doing that Munman, he could have placed a smaller unit, get the Berserker, and he does get a Berserker in the long run. Okay, so he does get a Berserker, so he has a chance to hold. The problem is that the Berserker is not tanking anything now. But in that situation, the Berserker is the damage, but still not quite enough damage. So let's see how it goes. The Berserker is now tanking, but there is a shared aggro between the flowers, the Berserker, but nothing attacking the steed. The Berserker seems to be very slow here to deal damage. Everything seems to be on the Berserker. Yes, the Berserker is now dying. There are still 2 Rokos. 2 Rokos and the safety mode here from Taulneas will be leaked. And massive king damage because you had a common weak wave. Better positioning on Berserker could have resulted into something a better hold. But just because the flowers did not tank before the Berserker, then the Berserker did not have time to ramp up. And partial tanking is crucial in these games here. And if the Berserker is placed behind, then you lose a little bit of value from all the other units not surviving as long. But yeah, Ashton and Chuck in clear control now, leaking the AoE players quite heavily on their weakest wave. Taulneas, I mean, Chuck could go for a reason here and still leak Taulneas. There is nothing much he can do with his situation. He does get enough for a mole after income. I think it is worth it for him. I mean, the Maiden's quite good, but the front line is non-existent. So a mole should kill Taulneas again if Chuck decides to do so. Still take his time to build. He does go for 2 veterans. Ashton goes for the second bounty hunter. Do we get the mole? No, we do not. So the save is coming. The save is coming. 240 on Chuck. And we will see here if it is enough to get a lot of gold to Snekkles and Taulneas. The goal on the board is still pretty even. And so the leak can help pretty much. The problem is the king HP. Now Snekkles and Taulneas cannot afford to leak anymore. So that might hurt them in the long run. Ashton only receiving a 60 but still struggling, and so it might still result into a leak here. He's targeting the brute. So if he kills the brute, it's still better for him, but that's a lot of units waiting, and that's not a kill on the brute. And so this will be in turn a lot of damage, and I don't want to call it too early, but this is quite a lot of damage and might be game. So yes, wave 6 was disastrous for Snekkles and Taulneas, but Ashton and Chuck were not able to spend the gold effectively to hold because the imps are still alive, and yes, this is game. This is just game. So quick one. Uh, but yeah, just a long save from Snekkles onto the Chuck from 4 to 7. I mean, 6 could have been handled a bit better from both the players. Maybe Snake did push a bit too much here if he wanted to go for a long save. Staying at 6 worker means that he gets possibly either more cats stacks on the cat or one more uh, one more ranger to split the extra walking time or things like that, because early game like your flower is not doing anything. Here Taulneas when we 4 leaking that much, pretty bad for him. Like normally you don't want to go for more than one flower, and if he prepares instead of that flower, go for a false maiden, then it can partially tank on 6 as well, so you are better off doing that with. And then if you hold that, you can already prepare for wave 6. If Snake is going for a long save, you can also yourself go for a long save if you just decide it yourself. And all these income sends could have been avoided, and then the bigger sends here could have been joined from Chuck and Ashton. But maybe Ashton over pushing it a bit after this 60 cent, not respecting the amount of workers that Taulneas could have afforded due to the long save. But in the end, risky play to not be fully prepared on 6 but still not fully die from it, and just be able to punish the opponent from, I mean, a bit of poor decisions here, to believe, because a lot. I think he's over investing into works and stuff like that. I mean, on 6, if you leak here, it's better for Ashton. What I mean here, if you receive a cent here, it's much better for Ashton that you leak because he has those on bounty hunters. He did receive a on wave 5 earlier, so you probably prefer to prepare for wave 7 where Ashton can be weak. But yeah, I mean, just quick game and good decision from Snack to go for the long save, and Chuck not being prepared for it. That's pretty much the only thing that has to be said here. I mean, Chuck did a very good job at punishing, but this priestess was not thinking. I mean, a lot is due to the fact that that priestess was not thinking. Like wave 7 could have been way less tragic if um, this priestess was tanking partially, and the crusher tanking partially as well. Very tricky positioning with priestess, but if you master it, like priestess on the wall, crusher for the back, tank half the half wave, and then have this delay the main wave with the main mercenaries, then you're in a way better position if you do that. So details, but this kind of hurt Chuck with 810 value. Yes, he is 155 under, but that's because of the high worker push that he did, and also the long wave 6 that they caused themselves. So on that, I'm gonna say thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. See you next time.